Hello, this is Joon-Ho Lee, a professor at the Dong University. My actual department where I'm in is communication media. My co-author is Professor Hwang Sang-Hyun. He's at the Department of Advertising and PR. This article we both made is for April 21st, 2021 April 25th article. The main topic of our article for presentation is smart media advertising factors affecting purchase intention. It's a very practical empirical study about advertising effect on people's actual or consumers' actual purchase intention. So let me show it more specifically with some presentation screens. Yeah, the title of the article presented in April 2021, the 2055, is Smart Media Advertising Factors Affecting Purchase Intention, written by myself, and Hwang Sang-Hyun. Let's see the page. The next page is contents, and contents consist of abstract and the introduction, and research review, and method, and result, and conclusion. Let me go further. Yeah, the abstract is like follows. The purpose of this study is to analyze important factors and effects of the current smart media advertising affecting advertising attitude and purchase intention. So as you know, the independent variable for this empirical study is smart media advertising and its the various aspects of change, and the dependent variable is advertising attitude and purchase intention. More specifically, the study empirically explored how smartphone using pattern, phone using pattern, and advertising type preference and users' perception of the mobile advertising. These are the independent variables, and then we explored how these independent variables affect or have impact on the users' advertising acceptance and intention to purchase the product on the advertisement. The study survey is the main method for to prove several research questions and some speculation about the relations between these the independent variables and dependent variables. A survey was conducted using sample of 349 respondents for a series of regression analysis. Main analysis tools were regression analysis. As a result of this, original research, we found out that the following three results. First thing is frequent seekers of information and or news on smartphones are more likely to favorably receive mobile advertising messages and to intend to buy advertising products. So information and news seekers are more likely to get or some has potential to show the effect of the mobile advertising on the smartphones. The second result is advertisement in video formats or with a coupon and discount offer seem to be relatively more effective than than the other types of advertisements. Third finding, the third thing is both advertising acceptance and purchase intention. Advertising acceptance variable and the purchase intention variable tend to increase as advertisements are perceived to be more compensating, convenient, or immersive. These types of advertising treat more positive effects about the intended result of advertisers. In conclusion, these results seem to be meaningful for mobile advertising planners and practitioners pursuing extended, advanced, and practical ideas and insights. This is the main conclusion. Then let me go further explain or describe some more details about this article and the following pages. Yeah, let's go another page. The purpose of this study includes these points. The first thing is the widespread adoption of mobile communication media has changed nearly every way we process our individual social economic life that includes our daily advertising consumption patterns. And statistics and reports throughout Korea clearly show that the traditional advertising media, newspaper publishing and broadcasting, have become the minor platforms for advertising content. It means that the conventional media platforms is becoming minor rather than the new platforms and mobile media, smart media, something like that, or some internet-based media. Whereas the new online media that are represented by internet and mobile devices have become the major advertising media. Total advertising revenues for mobile media have increased to 5 trillion won with 2-digit % of the average annual growth rate, whereas the total of other media has decreased and stagnated since 2015. So it is important to empirically explore how people perceive and consume mobile advertising and how it influences people in terms of acceptance of advertising and intention to purchase advertisers' products and services. Therefore, this study analyzed characteristics of mobile media usage patterns, preference of types of advertising, users' perception of mobile advertising, and their impact on advertising acceptance. Advertising acceptance and the intention to purchase. These are the main desirable results for the advertising performance, planning, products, and some other selling behaviors. So let's move to next page. These are the literature review. The first literature review to be considered is the statistics, like the trend or tendency of the increasing impacts of mobile media from 2015 to present. So it increased very quickly up to this point. So the online advertising revenue accounts for half of total Korean domestic media advertising expenditures. Due to the rapid growth of mobile advertising revenue for recent several years. As the internet advertising expenditure is relatively static, it means that the wired internet media is relatively static, but however, mobile advertising itself is expected to occupy over 50% of whole advertising market soon. Maybe it's already over the 50% or share. The other literature review is like that follows. The first thing is content preference. Is important in the independent variable deciding the desirable results of advertising performance, content preference of consumers. So it's positively related to consumers' perceived informative entertainment values of mobile advertisements. These values, depending on users' individual differences, also mediate the effect of content preference on attitude toward ads. Also, lifestyle of media users is also frequently determines their personal interest and consumption patterns of media content and advertisements. Also, the smart media using patterns show that there are the 5 patterns: personal communication, news and information seeking, and works, visual and audio content, and shopping and commercial use. These are another other important factors affecting the positive results of advertising. For example, leisure value investment oriented use group who tend to use media for shopping and commercial purposes have more positive attitude toward advertisements and power of advertising than others. Third part of the theoretical review is these various findings from the prior relevant studies. Besides the purpose of patterns of smart media uses, 3 more factors or elements have been suggested and explored for their contribution to mobile advertising effects. The first thing is advertising type. Second, the perceived traits of the advertising. And third, advertising attitude. Types of mobile media advertising are categorized based on the ways that they express, like these ways, also ways to transmit push and pull, and message type, content, transaction, response, location, timing, and media mix. These are new types of modern digital advertising and techniques, utilizing mobile media, especially smartphones. However, they are perceived and categorized into two types. Very simply, can be categorized to simple format and content in terms of format and content. In general, widely used in the price studies, format and content is very important in categorization to differentiate the types of advertisement. And the formats of mobile advertising consist of shape, layout, and interactivity, while content consists of product or service, theme, cognitive and affective, positive or negative, and traits of mother. And another means something like a celebrity appearing on the advertising content. And some other things that can be, more elements of advertising content. The second thing is the most frequently analyzed elements of users' perception of advertising. The user's perception of advertising is the second factor for the advertising effect. They include the information, preference, credibility, customization, situation, and convenience, economy, and interest, and fun or entertainment content, or the perceived content of entertainment, experience, compensation, immersion, rejection, and so on. The other thing to be considered is advertising attitude. It's very important, very core element to explore the process of advertising effects. Also, the attitude is consumers' learning tendency or orientation to consistently respond to advertising stimuli, favorably or unfavorably, when they expose to the advertisements. The consumers become to have certain attitude toward advertising and its product and brands in a variety of attitude dimensions. The attitude in turn affects purchase intention. Yeah, based on this, the literature review, we could build the very core and the central analytical framework for this study. This part is independent variable, and this part will be simply the dependent variable. So we intended to analyze their causal relationship between this group and this group. The final purpose of advertisers, practically, would be intention to purchase held by users or media users or consumers. So based on this analytical framework, we also generated more specific questions. Research question 1 is: what is the relationship between traits of the smartphone usage and effectiveness of smartphone advertising. The other question is between relationship between users' preference for types of advertising and effectiveness of smartphone advertising. The third question we want to look at was the relationship between users' perceived traits of advertising and effectiveness of smartphone advertising. These are main research questions for this study. The method include first, the survey, face-to-face interviews done 2020. Sampling method is a hybrid sampling method consisting of purposive and stratified sampling. By controlling the demographics, main important demographics, such as sex, age, and region. Sample size count 400 respondents originally, but 51 respondents among 400 was excluded. They are excluded because they answered more than acceptable number of questions. They skipped that answering that question. They missed many number of questions. So final sample size for analysis would be 349 eventually. Questions consist of 23 questions asking daily purpose usage of the smartphone. The second group is preference of 12 advertising types, 6 format types and 6 content types, as guided in literature review we already looked at. And 33 questions asking 11 advertising attitude dimensions. Also, this is also based on literature review or prior research. And advertising acceptance is main, the very important element of advertising attitude. And finally, purchase intention, its main dependent variable. And we asked some other demographic characteristics of respondents on questionnaire. Yeah, then next we go to result of empirical testing. First, table shows the regression analysis of exploring the relationship between smartphone usage pattern and advertising effects. These advertising effects and this usage patterns in this line, and so that to look at to pick up the important or the significant independent variables, we can pick up this one in asterisk mark on it, and then work and education. The people who mainly use smartphones for the purpose of work or their work or their education is more likely to accept the advertising on mobile media and and the other variable. Let me go to the other variables in here. Shopping and leisure purpose. Those who like to use a smartphone for the purpose of shopping and leisure, mainly for their main purpose, then they also, the more like to the shopping and leisure purpose, the use of the smart media, and they are more likely to have a higher purchase intention of the advertising. Also, information and news. Those who are using the smartphones for the purpose of the information, seeking information or news, news watching or news reading, then they like to accept the advertising content, and as well as have a more bigger purchase intention like this. Also, the convenience. Those who like to use the smartphone for the purpose of their convenience, their easiness to have daily lives, then more likely to get the advertising messages, and they tend to agree that the advertising content. The second the result is on the second table. This is also the regression analysis result. It's almost same, but there's independent variables changing, replaced by advertising preference. Which form of mobile advertising format or types are more like to influence the advertising acceptance and purchase intention. Yeah, the most important independent variable in this table is video format. If someone like to watch mobile advertising in video format most, then the more they like to video format advertising, the more they like to accept advertising content and have more higher purchase intention of the product. Also, coupon discount, the advertising containing coupon or discount, then they like to accept the advertising and they like to buy the product. It's also an important element for the advertising type, along with video format. And others, then even though there's several other significant variables, they have impact only either advertising acceptance or purchase intention, either of these two. However, the video and coupon discount is more powerful factors affecting advertising acceptance and purchase intention, both dimensions. And third result is also in the same format as regression analysis. The other in this table is advertising attitude. How advertising attitude have impacted the advertising acceptance and purchase intention. Advertising attitude is the users, the persistent or some consistent the thinking or affection to certain type of advertising or mobile media advertising. So in this case, convenience, if someone feels that mobile advertising is conveniently can be accepted, then they are more likely to accept the advertising content and have more purchase intention. Also, the other important variable is compensation. If they feel that users or consumers like to feel that they are more compensated by seeing or watching or being exposed to advertisement, then they tend to accept more advertising content and have more bigger intention to buy the products. Also, immersion is another important factor for advertising acceptance and intention. Immersion means how the consumers or users like to focus on watching certain type of smart media advertisements. Immersion, it's like focusing on or be falling into viewing the advertising without other distraction. So it's also important factors. The more immersive the mobile media the advertisement, then the consumers are more likely to accept or buy the products. Yeah, let me go to the main conclusion for this study. The findings, results of the study seem to provide advertising planners and practitioners for some extended, advanced, and meaningful ideas and insights. Yeah, based on the three regression analysis. We are proud of that, those results, because they're very useful and meaningful to in practical sense. Out of them, it's worth reminding the proved key factors raising the intended effects of advertising. Smartphone use motivations for information news seeking. It's more a little more specific, findings. And the video, text, the SMS type, and the coupon, and the discount, the advertising is very important for in a sense that they provide compensation, compensation to the consumers. They really like to have some interest on the advertisement and like to buy the real product. Also, positive perception of compensation. As I said just before, the convenience and immersion. It is also another important variable or factors deciding the advertising acceptance and purchase intention. It will be a point of interest to generate predictions in how the mobile advertising will displace or co-evolve, displace or co-evolve with other media advertising in this highly competitive but limited market. So This study alone shows that the big change, big trend shift from traditional media advertising to mobile media advertising. So yeah, I appreciate for your attention, and yeah, have a good day. Thank you very much.